So, sorry guys. Hello everybody, this is the Online Business Coffee Break where we talk to business owners, stay sane and expand their business online. And my name is Martha Fraser. I'm an online business mentor and coach and the founder of Global Online Stars, which is a virtual online campus for entrepreneurs to expand their business online. And today we are joined by Nikki and Mary Finn. So, sorry, Nikki, you were just saying you've a decluttering business.
Yeah. So I help women declutter and organize.
Oh my God, it's so, do you know what? Because I'm doing these online copy breaks Monday to Friday, and what I've decided to do is I'm making Friday an expert space. So I interview someone every Friday. So so needed. I would love to interview you sometime and talk about decluttering.
Perfect. Perfect. Talk about hours, no problem.
What's your website?
So you can find me at simplifyandsort.com.
Oh my God, Simplify and Sort. I'm just going to look you up now. Simplify and Sort.com.
That's it.
SNS. Fantastic. And how long have you been doing that?
So I've only been doing it about 6 months professionally, but I've been decluttering and organizing for years personally and helping friends and that sort of thing. And then about 6 months ago, I decided to start a business.
Oh wow, so you're only doing it 6 months.
So
are you there?
Of course, this is not.
We're just losing you, Nikki. Thank you. Are you there? Are you there? Are you there? Sorry, Nikki, I think we're losing you. I think the Wi-Fi is going. Mary, can you hear her?
No, I can't. Her image seems to have frozen up there at the top.
Okay. It's not my side.
Yours and mine. Oh,
okay.
Sorry.
I turn off my own phone as well.
Sorry, completely forgot about that.
Okay, we'll pause you for a minute, Nikki. Let's say you come back in. Oh, there you are. Are you there now?
Oh, yeah.
No, she's gone again.
Oh, she's gone. Oh, back
you
again.
There? Are you back again? Hello? I can hear you and I can see you, Nikki. Well, I can see you anyway.
I don't know what. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there you are. Sorry, I think your Wi-Fi just took a little leap. So you only set up 6 months ago. That's amazing.
That's it. Just.
Oh gosh, I don't think your Wi-Fi is doing too good today.
Getting started, and then this crazy staying home. Can you guys still hear and see me? I can hear and see everyone else.
I can see you. The audio is just jumping there. And it's really interesting, actually. I just hear you saying there about getting started, and then this happened. And I was just talking to, so I just started a group called SOS, Get My Business Online. We've just gone through our first session, and the next group is starting on the 14th of April. And it's interesting because a lot of them have wanted to go online for a very long time, but not that they didn't want to, but this is now forcing people to do the things that they wanted to do and they were avoiding, you know. And even I was speaking to a lady there this morning, you know, who wants to be more visible online, but for a long time, a lot of people had a lot of excuses, and now there's no excuses anymore. It's just like time to do it. It's time to show up and just be seen online in a whole new way, and kind of sell their products in a whole new way, you know.
It's also though, Martha, it's really overwhelming at the moment, the amount of, like you say, businesses who've been wanting to, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling quite overwhelmed by the amount of messages, you know, and you know, sometimes it's just a kind of hello, sometimes it's a selling message, you know, lots of different messages, but you know, I've had to turn off my notifications. I just find it overwhelming at the moment.
Yeah, and to be honest, I have all my notifications off anyway on my phone. Did that a long time ago. I have to physically go in and check the different apps, right? Now, one of the things I was telling a friend of mine last night. Sorry, Mary, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sorry. Nikki, I could totally do with you in my house.
I'd be afraid to show the camera around.
Oh, no. I'm not going to do that. So yeah, well done to you for starting up. So I'm based in Galway as well. I don't know whereabouts in Galway you are, but I'm out toward Kinvara direction.
Okay.
So I set up my business about a year and a half ago. Excuse me, and it's called Connect for Work, and it is working with organizations to support the return of an employee who has been absent, whether it's planned leave like maternity, carers leave, maternity, bereavement leave, whatever kind of planned leave, or an unplanned leave, which would be illness or injury. So working with the individual to think about how they might like to go back and what supports they might need, and then working with the organization to see how can they put that in place. If there are any accommodations, looking at reasonable accommodations, risk assessments for a person to come back, and really just supporting their person to come back in a very safe and sustainable manner so that they can come back and remain in work then.
Yeah.
That's
I think you're going to be very busy when this is over, or possibly even during it. Like,
well, yeah, and nobody's thinking about returning to work at the moment. And a lot of the information that I'm seeing, you know, is all about, you know, the containment part of the disease, and we're in lockdown now. But I am hoping, and you know, I was thinking the last few days, this is really vulgar for me to be thinking about this, you know, that I'm going to try and
it's not vulgar.
there's a silver lining for myself. But then I was looking at somebody, you know, you probably know Declan Droney, Martha, would you?
I don't know.
Yeah, Nikki, I don't know if you know him, but he runs a Start Your Own program through the Leo here in Galway. And I was looking at an interview that he did somebody with recently, and you know, they were talking about exactly this, people getting on during this crisis, and that they're actually busy and becoming busier, and that it's okay. And up until today, I felt really awful, but now, and after I looked at that, I thought, okay, that's it. I'm going to jump on here to talk to you, Martha, and whoever else is around, and see. I do need to take this opportunity, and it does sound really vulgar to me, but I
know. And can I just say, because we on this coffee break, we've had these conversations, and because one of the things that I was saying to let's say some of the SOS members and people on this break is that it's okay to make money in a crisis. Your mommy's on a call, sweetheart. Yes. Cartoon. Yes. You know, and the thing is that, like, one of the things, like, this coffee break is my service. This is me just showing up, being there for business owners and my own hour of sanity as well, right? And like, I feel really good about doing this because it's a give back. It's a space for people just pop up and chat. But I'm also continuing working, and you know, you don't see Aldi going, I'm really sorry, I can't give you the food. I can't make money right now. I'm really sorry. Could you imagine if Aldi or Tesco or any of those said, I'm sorry, we can't give you our services right now because we just can't make money. And you're there going, but I need food. I want to pay for it. And there's people out there who are possibly your clients as well, who want to pay for services right now. There's plenty of people with money and with income and with savings or whatever, who need services to survive. And when we offer our services, we're helping them go further. And when you withhold your services, you're withholding on them as well. You know, and it's and the thing is, I'm seeing a lot of women. I've heard no men saying this. I've heard no men saying
That's interesting.
It's all the women. It's the women who, you know, who just feel, because it's, I think we have a natural nurture gene in us that, you know, you just want to open your arms and hug the world and make everything better. And we deserve, and it's funny, I'm going to be interviewing a friend of mine who's a wealth abundance coach. And when we come from a place of lack, when our mindset is in a place of lack, we put our clients in that place as well. Do you know what I mean? So when we can come from a place of service and helping people and also still being in business, like when you see other people still being in business, I think it's inspiring. I think, like, if we're all on the flat line, it would cause an absolute depression in the world, right? We need the economy to keep things moving. So while other economies are down, other people to pull up and just go for it, you know? And like what I said, that's not to say we can't still be of service and do things for free. It doesn't all have to be give it to me, give it all to me, you know. We can still open our heart and still get paid at the same time. You can do it in parallel, you know.
Yeah.
I completely agree with what Mary was saying earlier, though. I felt so overwhelmed this last week.
Yeah.
With all the adverts on Facebook and everyone telling you, get online and you must do this and you're missing an opportunity. That last week I actually just took a step back and I did the bare minimum on my Facebook page. And I just, because I felt like it was just overload. Do you know what I mean? This week I'm feeling a bit better. I'm coming back, but I completely agree with Mary.
Yeah, and I think, you know, to be honest, there was my kids now, let's say they do this hip hop dance, Ultraflex, and actually the teacher of the hip hop, she's local here, but she actually became a client of mine the last 6 or 7 months. And luckily she had all her business online and ready to go. So she literally just transferred over into a new business model now. And like, so they're doing the hip hop, and then what's the other thing they're doing? They're doing the piano lessons on WhatsApp, right? Now, I'm continuing with the piano because, you know, with piano, they're only doing it 6 months. If they stop, I'm afraid they won't go back to it. And then I got a text from the Spanish teacher saying Spanish classes are resuming on Zoom. And to be honest, I have to say no, because I can't do my work and get the Spanish set up on another laptop while I'm doing that. It's just too much. And the conversation, actually, if you get an opportunity, the replay from yesterday is on YouTube. We had a really good conversation about an article I'd read where he said, you know, we were already in a state of doing. We're getting an opportunity to be in a state of being, you know, where we kind of dampen down the busyness. I don't want to be busy all our hours. I wanted the girls to do different things. You know, they're painting now. Like our sitting room is like an art gallery. There's so much. So like, I think it's very valid what you're saying about all the information. I think we need to put it through a filter and say, yeah, I'm going to do some of the online stuff. You know, pick what you want. You know, there's some classes now that I want to do for myself if I can schedule in the time for myself. But yeah, like it is in 2 weeks, it was like a tsunami of online. We're all online. Come to us, come to us, you know. But it's just, I think it's just picking what you want, you know.
And I think this week everybody seems to have calmed down a little bit. There isn't, I'm still seeing a lot, but I think it is the first 2 weeks, I think everybody was really panicking. I think this week is kind of calm down a little bit. You know, I have 3 girls here, and even they've kind of calmed down a little bit, and you know, taken backup cards. They're playing cards every day. We've done an enormous jigsaw puzzle. So yeah, we're beginning kind of they're baking every day though, so I really need to get out walking.
We were doing that, and literally I said the exact same thing. I was like, going, if I eat another fairy cake, I'm going to turn into a fairy cake. You know, so there's that side of it as well, isn't there? You know, the corona stone, as we call it, you know.
Yeah, oh God, it'll be more than that.
So you know, and it's funny because I was speaking to my sister there on the phone yesterday. She's in Australia, and they're kind of 2 weeks behind us, and she's just kind of. And I said, Jennifer, look, calm down. I said, well, she wasn't stressed, but I was like saying it took me 2 weeks to get. I kind of went through a stress curve where I was like really stressed, and now like what you just said, I'm just back off it now, you know. So yeah, so I think it's the balancing the personal life, it's balancing this whole new abnormal normal, and then it's kind of going, right, well, how am I going to continue in my business? You know, how am I going to do that? How can you think outside the box? You know, like for you, Mary, like I'm just looking at your website there, like you could do, I know you kind of do Connect for going back to work, but could you also do like transitions, like what what's happening now?
Yeah, and I've had this discussion with a friend there during the last few days. I could, in a way, but at the moment, everybody's priority is on, on containment and flattening the curve, and that's everybody's priority at the moment. Most people are working from home, and I have been thinking about doing maybe a webinar to support people, while they're still at home. But there's an awful lot out there at the moment, so I'm really trying to put together some information on, okay, if they say, all right, maybe in 2 weeks' time we can start thinking about going back to work. So I suppose to Galway Chamber, and I'm going to try and put something out through their channel to their members on kind of preparing for return to work, and just talking about how people feel about that, because I don't think that even if they were to say at the end of this 2-week lockdown, which I don't think they will.
To be honest, I think it's going to be months, Mary.
Yeah, I think so too. So I'm looking at at doing something a little bit closer when people have it more in mind, because there's lots of trained facilitators on mental health, and they're going to be talking about linking in and supporting your team remotely. But
Yeah.
I'm just going to wait for another week or two to see if I can gather some qualified information on going back to work, because at the moment it's beginning to come from China, but I don't know who these people are that is putting information up. So the World Health Organization, NISO, the National Irish Safety Organization, HSC, there's nothing up yet about returning to work. So I'm trying to push that content together so that when we're down through this a little bit more and people might be more open to thinking about it, then yes, absolutely.
I suppose what I'm wondering is, could you pivot slightly? Even though I hate that word pivot because it's all over the place now, but could you just, because the name of your business is Connect for Work.
Mm-hmm.
So, could you have something where, how can you create a daily Connect for Work in your new environment? Because it's almost like, I know they're already, let's just say, for all the people who are working from home.
Mm-hmm.
So what is, I suppose, creating new procedures. Like there's a lot of companies now where they need to do meetings differently. They need to do, HR differently. They need to do, so almost taking your going back to work, procedures, and creating mini versions for how can we connect for work in a whole new way. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
On a weekly basis, how can we take what we have and transition it into, so basically you have to first of all review the procedures you have, what needs to be changed, how can we update those procedures for like new processes, new ways of working, and like there's probably procedures that they're missing now because everyone's working from home.
Mm-hmm.
What are the Connect for Work new procedures that we need when the whole company works from home? So basically, what's the gap? What's the gap between the procedures and policies they had and the gap between the procedures and policies that they need? So I think there's kind of a pivot there for you, Mary, that and there's a gap that companies need someone like you to come in and say, okay, I've done my analysis, or here's what I think where I can help you, because they probably don't have someone who can come in and just, especially with smaller companies, that you're used, not that you're used to working with smaller companies, but like, could you imagine if you could provide like a DIY procedures package from working online from home?
Okay.
I don't know, I'm just thinking off the top of my head.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, yeah. And there has been stuff put out about that, about managing remote teams.
Yeah.
There's lots of stuff going on about that, and that's why I was thinking, I just didn't know whether if I put something together on that, would that just be lost in the overload?
To be honest, I'm not aware. I suppose I don't know your business area enough to know whether it'd be lost or not. But the thing is, I suppose one of the things that you're saying is what a lot of people say, oh, there's loads of people doing what I do, why bother? And this is where it's up to you to kind of make yourself more visible, more seen, make yourself heard. And, doing, let's say, interviews like this. I shared this interview on LinkedIn afterwards. Creating, I mean, the thing is, you could always ring a couple of companies and say, look, I'm thinking of doing this. Is this something that you need? Do a little bit of market analysis first, ring 5 companies and say, look, I just need some some HR people, get their feedback and say, look, what do you need right now? This is something I'm thinking of doing. What would be what's the ideal thing you need right now? And that's what we're doing in the SOS program. We're creating digital products that people need right now.
I think the thing as well, though, is that clients are still a little bit behind on taking up a lot of that online stuff. So like even before this, I already was offering online consultations. I was already trying to get I do face-to-face workshops, and I actually scheduled my first online workshop literally a week before this whole shutdown thing went. So timing was perfect for me. But
and did the online one go ahead?
It went ahead, and I had 6 bookings with it, which I think wasn't bad for that first week where we had sort of like, it was meltdown and everyone was stressed and, they were overwhelmed. But I'm finding I'm having to keep it very simple. Like a lot of my clients don't want to use Zoom. They don't want to, like I'm doing it as live videos in a closed Facebook group, because even that for some of my clients just seems like too much.
Yeah, and I think to be honest, more and more people, I just had a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday, even with the kids, they're finding, let's say my older girl, she's loving the video chats with her friends. She goes up to her room and she's 9 and they have their little chat, because I said, they have their private chats at school as well. So I said, look, go to your room, you have your private time, it's important. And whereas my little 7-year-old, I said, do you want to ring your friend? No, I didn't like it. Like it. So
the younger ones are struggling with that. They don't know how to talk to each other.
No, because they're used to playing. Because even I put my 9-year-old on with her other friends in the class. I set up a Zoom call for them. And I was cleaning in the kitchen while I could hear, and I was waiting for the conversation to happen, and it didn't happen. And they were just they were figuring out Zoom. It was so funny. They had it figured out in 5 minutes, pressing all the buttons, and they had a great time. But it was lovely to see that play thing was still there. But it's happening with them. It's happening with adults as well. They're getting used to a lot of people who weren't online before, and as well, it's sometimes like, let's say with another client we had, she just did her first call with people. Sometimes it's bringing people through the process, that you kind of have to say, look, this is how it works. You merely need to give them a step by step. So we're going to have a Zoom call. Don't say, even when you say Zoom, this is a video conference call. Spell it out. This is a video conference call. When you click the link, this is what happens. You can have your screen on or your screen off. What you can say is, when you come on, I'll have all the attendees off, but you can turn your screen on and have a chat with me, or we can just hear you. So when people are afraid of the unknown, but when you lay everything out step by step, then it becomes so much easier.
I actually noticed that in marketing my last online workshop. I initially just sort of assumed people knew. And as soon as I started spelling out exactly what they could expect, people started booking tickets. So,
Yeah, because it's like everything, if you're turning up to something live, like whether it's a freebie or something paid, we're making, like, when you think about what goes on in your head when you're making a decision, like when because this was something that, say, we were doing with the SOS guys, I was saying, they were creating the titles for their digital products, and there was some of them who were nailing it, and then there were others who didn't quite have it. And like I said to them, the title has to say to me, oh my God, I want that, right? So when you're spelling something out, you know, people have to, it has to be so easy to understand that they say yes or no. If they have to say, what is this? Oh, how does this work? Then they haven't quite got to the yes or no yet. Do you know? I think Nikki's gone again. Or she's just really thinking about it. But does that make sense? Does that make sense, Mary, to you as well?
Yeah, it absolutely does. And I've been trying to think about, you know, what can I do a little bit different? You know, what can I offer to distinguish myself? And so yeah, it absolutely resonates with me. And I think you're right, and I'm just gonna have to do this now and plan this. But yeah, I guess I was kind of holding back. I guess I've just been, you know, Nikki, I'm not as brave as you. I haven't kind of gone online yet or done a webinar or anything like that. So, you know, and I don't have a huge customer base, even though I've been out on my own for the last year. I really don't have a huge base. So I guess that was kind of a little bit hard for me to see where you know, who am I going to offer this to, because I don't have a huge base. And then that's why I thought, if I did it through the chamber, you know, they have a set base, and that might
they have
be
the audience straight away.
Yeah. But I had spoken to them and I said I'm going to wait a few weeks, but now I'm going to actually really think about this today, and I'm going to go back to them and say, actually, no, I can do this, you know, and commit to a day, maybe someday next week.
And it could even be that you set up something that is either a digital DIY product for both the company and the workers. You could have, like, you know, like a jigsaw, what you said at the start. You know, how does the company create something that fits with the employee, and how can the employees create procedures that fit with the company, and then they all work together. But like, the other thing you could do is either create the DIY product or facilitate being the communicator between employees and companies. You know, what's working in this new environment for you, what's not working, how can we feed this back to the company? You know, you could start doing surveys, and you know, so either you create the DIY product first, or you become a facilitator for companies, a communicator between home workers and companies, you know. And I think for yourself, Nikki, it's, you know, like, I mean, definitely the decluttering. Like, do you know what? Do you know what gets to me? Is I seem to be constantly decluttering.
Just keep moving your clutter around instead of getting rid of it.
No, this is the thing, right? Before, when did we go away? Probably in January. I must put 11 bags to the bin and the charity, gone out. And I find, for me personally, one thing, I think one thing I would love to have is an office, because for me, the office is the worst place, right? I tend to have boxes of stuff. And I know the problem. The problem is I'm not spending time filing and sorting. Like what your website says, simplify and sort. I'm not spending that time. So, like, you know, you could have a DIY office declutter and stay decluttered forever, so that you would help people build the processes in.
Yes.
You know, so like, you know, that's something that springs to mind straight away for me. Whereas with the kids, I'm actually not bad, and I have a press upstairs, and I have a bag, and whenever I'm doing the laundry, if I see something too small, it goes straight into the bag. So I
got those systems in place already.
I have for the kids stuff, and then every couple of weeks, then we go, right, okay, open your drawers, what's too small, blah blah blah. So I kind of have it nailed with them now. But the office for me, because when I come in here, I come in to do work. I don't come in to sort out the office. So it's just, and I hate it. I don't mind the kids stuff. I friggin' hate the office. Hate it.
I find most people, though, the office is the dumping ground because it's the place where it's not a communal living space or anything
Yes.
like that. So anything that doesn't have a home in your house goes
Yeah.
into the office. It's like a spare bedroom, and it will just
You
collect your
can't.
clutter.
Yeah, yeah. And even actually I've noticed, like, in my background here, I need to take this out for doing these videos, you know, because it's just like there is my stand-up board behind me. So yeah, so like, you know, I think that if you could create something where, like, what are people are organizing their houses now, they've got time to be at home. Like, this is an amazing time for you to be seen, shine, let people know who you are, and do various different videos, and just become more visible, you know. Um, how do you feel about becoming more visible online?
So I already have been trying very much. So waking up. I don't know if you ladies can still hear me. Have I gone again?
We just went for a minute.
I'm already quite visible on my Facebook page, so I do quite a lot of live videos.
Brilliant.
At the moment, I'm doing a daily decluttering challenge. So I'm doing like a kid-friendly one, so getting kids involved, and then a general household one. So I'm kind of doing that as like a free challenge to kind of get people involved. And I think also I'm trying not to overwhelm people. There's so much out there about, you know, do this while you're home. We've got so much time. But for a lot of us, we are schooling our kids. We're trying to run businesses. We're trying to work from home. So I'm also not trying to overwhelm people with like, you must be cleaning your entire house at the moment. I'm trying to break it down into sort of small bite-sized chunks that don't overwhelm people. I think for me, I'm also just trying not to rush. I think people also need time to get used to this new norm. And I think in a couple of weeks, clients will feel better about taking up services. But I just think at this stage, you know, most of them are just trying to figure out their new, like us, are feeling overwhelmed with all this marketing of what's online.
Yeah. So what do you offer, Nikki, online, let's say?
So I was actually just updating my website yesterday. That I'm going to run another online workshop.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I cut the price by 50% last time. And I think that also helped with people, you know, people are wanting to do it, but I also think people are feeling a bit like hoarding at the moment, you know, groceries, toilet paper, money, all of that. So I did run it at sort of a 50% sort of price cut, and that went well. So I'm thinking that I'm going to run another one of those, and then I'm going to try and do my sort of one-on-one sessions where I can, you know, we'll do a video call and I will look at, so you send me your pictures or your videos of your problem area before the call, and then we would have a call to discuss how best you can actually declutter the area, how to organize it, what to do with the stuff you're not keeping, you know, so talk about that sort of thing. So there would be like a smaller package and then obviously a bigger package for people who are wanting to do a bigger area of their home.
And I think, I think, to be honest, I think for yours, I think DIY, I think groups would be a fantastic one, because a lot of people either they possibly can't afford the one-to-one, or they want to, like, they kind of, maybe they don't want to confess the mess. There's a good line for you: confess the mess. That is a good line. That is really
well, I found what's worked quite nicely with this last workshop is that I opened a private Facebook group. So once you got your ticket to the workshop, you joined a private group, and those ladies are actually supporting each other now. So it's been 2 weeks now, and they're posting pictures of their before and after, and they are, you know, posting pictures and saying, I'm stuck, what do I do with this? And I'm giving advice on that. So it's quite nice because that's sort of creating a bit of community after the workshop, that you kind of have that ongoing.
So I think the next phase, and how much was the workshop?
It was ordinarily it's €30 and I dropped it to €15.
Okay. So like you have to, so normally I say to people, if they're designing, let's say, their online strategy, you have to And if you're doing for anything, you always, before you even run something, always say, well, what's my exit on this? What's the next step? So what is their next step? Right.
Yeah, I
So,
know.
so like this is where you say, if you want to continue in this group, it's 15 a month,
Yes.
or the 10 a month. Like, I think what's an easy yes in price right now? You know, what feels good to you, what feels good to them, and what would be an easy yes right now for them. You know, and that's still a fair price for you to actually run the service, right? But if you do run a group, then you have to really be clear on your boundaries, really be clear on when you show up. And when you say, right, you know, Q&As on Friday, I come in and I do a Facebook Live on a Friday, as opposed to answering, like, because I did this years ago when I was going online. I used to come in and if someone asked a question, I would answer it straight away. And you're in the group then all the time.
I found that answering questions at 9 o'clock at night, 10
No,
o'clock
no,
at
no,
night.
my friend, no, no.
The group was supposed to close on Sunday. I said when I marketed it, it would be open a week. And then some of the ladies hadn't watched some of the replays and the videos. And I was like, oh, it's okay. I'll leave it open another week.
No, so do the other week, but just say to people, this group is continuing, or create another group. And for anyone who wants to join them, so I would leave that group open for the workshop.
Yes.
Archive it after a week. Archive it. They can still look at the content, but they can't comment.
Okay.
Right? And then say, whoever wants to continue in the membership, let them continue on.
And then create another group for the membership.
And then create another group. And then the next time you run the workshop, you unarchive that group. You open it up for the 2 weeks. Then you send them on to the other group, right? It's really important. And look, it's something over the years. I started off with no boundaries whatsoever. I used to be there all the time. I used to answer questions all the time, and you will run yourself into the ground. And if you were to add up the hours you're working and what you're getting paid, you need to understand that what you're getting paid must equate into the time you're giving it, right? And well, I suppose obviously once the numbers grow, what you're getting paid will be more than the time you're giving it. You know, but at the start, you need to not. And there's a balance between over delivering and then completely burning yourself out.
Yeah.
You know, you just want. I mean, you want to give and share and help people, but just not kill yourself in the process, right? Yeah, so it's just it's just really and it's getting kind of clear on your own plan, what you want and how you can help people. And once you do that, and once you're clear on how you can help people, what your strategy is, how you're going to implement it, and then what are the boundaries and the exit criteria of whatever project you're working on, and then what's their next step. Because what can often happen, and I was saying this to clients there recently, is that you can loosen the jar for your customers, but if you don't make the offers, they will go somewhere else for them. Because if someone wants something and if you're not offering it, they will get it from someone else.
Yeah.
And sometimes we forget that it's not our job to make a decision for someone else. Your job is to put the offers out there of your service and let people decide whether they want them or not. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So how are you, Mary? You're nodding.
I am. I'm listening along there. You know, I know there's, you know, Nikki and I run very, very different business, but I mean, you know, what you're saying makes sense, I think, regardless of what the business is. And, you know, when you say, you know, make offers that are easy for them to say yes to, I'm thinking like, oh, you know, how can I present myself in that format that people are going to want to, you know, so I think your idea of maybe the daily connect for work, maybe a daily thing is too much at the moment, maybe it's weekly. I don't know, I'm gonna have to think about
but
that.
It could be, I suppose what I'm saying is, what is the daily process that the staff and the business will use?
Yeah, yes, that's the daily connection between a manager and their team, or an individual. Yeah, so
it could be called the daily connect package. right? This is how we do it. This is how, if there's any issues, you know, blah, blah, blah. And maybe what you might put together is a process that managers can just, do you know what, they don't have to come up with it themselves. Here's a process, guys. You know, we're rolling this daily connect package out across our teams. So what you could say is, you'll work with teams for 3 to 4 weeks. You come in with the foundation. You can say, you can just implement this, or we can work together over 4 weeks to nail it. You don't need to worry about it. I'll sort this out, or whatever. So they could buy the DIY package, or they could buy the plus package where they actually work with you.
So how would that be that I would facilitate? So I would instruct the manager on how to link in with them. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like, first of all, you have to ask, what do they need right now? What are they screaming out for right now?
Yeah.
Right. And then, like, I mean, it's worth speaking to some HR and some managers. Is it that the communication, is it working? Is it not working? Are the managers struggling to create a process that's working for the team? You know, like, I suppose I'm just using that Daily Connect as an example, but you really have to tune into, first of all, what are they screaming out for right now? What do they need support? Because they're probably busy working. If please God, they're still in business. This is one thing, right? And you know, especially for companies who weren't working remotely. I mean, anyone working remotely before this are probably just continuing the way they were, right?
Yeah.
But for those who have transitioned, you know, what do they really need? You know, so I would do a bit of soul searching yourself first. I would talk to some HR managers and some team managers, and just ask, what do they need help with?
Okay.
You know, because just walking up to someone's desk is gone.
Yeah.
You know, so what's replacing that? You know, and you don't want your whole day to be a day of Zoom meetings.
No.
Right. So is there maybe software apps, or I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. That's your area. But you know, so yeah, so it's just really, I think, say, what I'm doing with a lot of clients now in the SOS, we're just looking at how people can pivot. How can they serve people with the needs they have right now? Because basically the strategy we had a month ago is out the window. So we need to, like, and I think, to be honest, we're going to be around 6 months doing this. So and it's not, I don't think we've time to wait for 4 weeks, because people need support and service now. So how can we offer something that your customers need now? You know, and the other question then is, how do they need it? I don't want to go into the whole delivery of it, but how do they need it, you know? But yeah, so I'm going to throw up the link here. This is, if either of you are interested, that's the SOS Online. We're starting again in April. If you want to join us, you're more than welcome. You'll find it on my website, marthafraser.com/SOS Online. So it's basically 3 days. It's fairly intense. It's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 3 to 5, and then the week after, 3 to 5. So I do it's 6 days really. So I do 3 days and then 3 bonus days, and we basically implement your new service or offering, or plan and strategize to create it within those 6 days. And I suppose the reason I created it, and the reason I'm calling it SOS really, is because people need to change and create that new offering now. You know, and so that's what I'm doing. So if you're interested, you're more than welcome to join us. But I think what you were saying there, Mary, about, you know, waiting a few weeks time, people, they do need the support now.
Well, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, and someone was saying to me there yesterday, oh yeah, sure, we'll be back in May or June. We won't be back in May or June.
Can't see it. Not me anyway.
No, and if we're back by September, I think it would be a small miracle. And to be honest,
Yeah.
there could be a second wave of it then. So I'm aiming for next January. That's my mental one. Or do you know what? Christmas. If we all could have Christmas with our families, I think that would be a dream. But yeah, so I think, it's really about looking at what can I do right now? How can I help my customers right now? What do they need? And how can you show up and offer that? And like what we're talking about at the top of the hour, without feeling guilty, without feeling that, that you're taking, but instead of taking, you're serving, and just keep, anytime you think of like not charging, just think of Aldi or Tesco not opening their stores for people, how that would feel, right? You kind of feel like, oh my God, why are they neglecting me in my hour of need, right? And that's what we're doing when we don't offer our services. Um, yeah. Oh, Valerie. Valerie, I forgot. Valerie, are you coming on to say hello? Valerie's here. Valerie's been joining us every day as well. She said, "Can you share your website?" So Mary Finn she would be a fantastic person for you, Valerie, as well. Valerie is out of work at the moment and she's looking for work. Mary is the number 4, connect4work.ie. Hang on, I will put it in the chat. And hang on a second now. Where's my chat button gone? Here we go.
Can I just qualify though, Martha? So my main focus is on connecting people who have a job. They're just away through apps.
Oh, yes. Okay, yeah, sorry, yeah.
So, but I am more than happy to talk to Valerie, and if I can share information and any help with her about getting ready in her mindset about going back to work and looking at, routines and patterns of behaviors and setting expectations. Absolutely, I talk to her, but I'm not a job searching service. Just to make
and it's interesting actually what you just say, because a lot of the mindset of going back to your company is possibly the same as just going back to work. There could be that going back to work mindset, getting ready.
Yeah.
There's another small pivot if you wanted it.
Yeah, and that's why I was wondering, should I wait to do this? Because I do want to do something on getting ready to go back, because it's going to be a while before we're all back, and we're used to being at home now. And I know it's really, really busy, and we've got, we might have family here with us, or we might have pets, and we're slowly getting into routine of doing the housework and getting out, enjoying the queues to do the shopping, coming back and cleaning and going for walks and getting out. That's a real learned behavior, and that's going to have to break again when we go back to work.
But the other side of it as well is that not everyone has that behavior. Like, I'm still working. A friend of mine posted on Facebook yesterday. She's a business owner. She's completely stressed out. And she said, can everyone stop sending me funny jokes? Take me off your list. She said, I'm trying to hold my business together. So the thing is that it's a learn. So I would qualify. So there's different people that are going through there's people who are working 12-hour shifts. They're exhausted. Some people are really enjoying this time. Some people aren't. So I suppose for people who are off completely, who are possibly getting paid and off, that is the ideal situation, right? You have people then who are off, who are struggling, and so I think it's really important to qualify the different categories of people who are and what they're going through right now, because and that's another area that you could, I suppose what I was just trying to say there, Mary, was that the going back to work mindset could be for people who are going back to the job they already had, but the going back to work mindset is kind of similar. There would be maybe one module separate, going back to your company, going back to a new company. And to be honest, for a lot of people, even when you go back to your old company, it feels like a new company because they might have been out so long.
Sometimes, yeah.
So you could have the going back to work mindset DIY, and that could be something that you actually collaborate with the unemployment offices. It could be a DIY program that you create for just unemployed who are going back to work, just anyway, look, it's just food for thought. There's things that are coming to the top of my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Valerie, are you going to come on and say hello? No, she didn't come on yesterday either. She came on the first few days. I think you're shy, Valerie, are you? But you might have family and different people there in the background.
And maybe a mess in the background, possibly.
And maybe a mess in the
background. That your house is messy in any way.
I've put everyone off showing themselves now.
Oh, stop. And it's funny because we're moving office here actually, because we're changing some things in the house. And I have to move the office. The playroom is the other room there. So we're moving the playroom and I have to move the office. Oh my God, the thoughts of it is just crazy. So I have to move the office in there. Anyway, I don't look forward.
Good time to file all that stuff then before you move it.
Oh, stop it. Yeah. Well, I had done so much decluttering, but I still have more to do. But yeah, so in the next couple of weeks, when you see these calls, I could be anywhere. I might be doing them from my bedroom next week. But anyways, yeah, so thanks for joining today. I hope you found today helpful. Just even, you know what, just a space to come on and just think and talk, you know.
It's nice just to see faces other than the ones I'm living with, to be honest.
I know, yeah, isn't it? And just have that adult hour of sanity. I think I should rename it to that. So what was your takeaway from today, ladies?
For me, just the thinking of the sort of exit, what's next, you know what I mean? That's a big thing for me. Like, I sort of saw my workshop as that was it. We do the workshop, you carry on, you know, maybe down the line, they may, you know, come for a one-on-one consultation, but I love the idea of kind of creating another group. And
yeah, and completely. And the thing is as well is that the biggest thing, like, people need to learn new things and new processes. And the biggest thing, even for myself, is, and what I find with my clients, is the accountability and the motivation and the inspiration to keep going.
Yeah.
You know, just because you've learned something, it's the implementation after that. You know,
that's what's really working in that Facebook group now. So it makes perfect sense to take what's working and kind of just carry on with it. But like you say, I kind of felt like I didn't even think of charging for it. And I thought, you know, I'm already doing another week for free. I don't want to just let it run indefinitely.
Sure. I mean, you're not there to provide you know, like conversations won't put food on the table, I'm afraid. So, you know, you have to charge for your time, you know. And like, you're doing your free challenges on Facebook, so you're doing your free stuff. I'm going to go and look up your Facebook page now and join it.
There's already 3 weeks of challenges, so it'll keep you busy for a while.
Brilliant. I'll go back.
Very good.
I'll go back to the Anyways, guys, that's it from me. Mary, sorry, what did you get from today? Sorry.
Yeah, so can I just add something? Just listening, Vicky, to you talking, and the challenges and the when Martha was talking there, just came to me about, you know, maybe an idea would be for us in our house, we have two biannual cleanouts. So it's coming up to summer to get rid of all the winter clothes that are too small to make room for the summer stuff. And then at the end of summer, another clear out, put all the summer stuff away to make room for the winter stuff. And you know, as I said, I've got 3 girls, so some clothes get shared between them. And then, so we have, it spreads over a lot of time, because trying to get the 3 of them together is a nightmare. But the girls know that 2 times a year, before summer and after summer, we have a clean out. So that's how we try to manage it. But I mean, that's maybe something that you might be able to use.
Yeah, I was thinking also something now coming up, you know, it's sort of spring. I think people are feeling they want to do a bit of a clear out. So definitely something sort of seasonal-ish.
Yeah. So that just kind of came to me. So
actually, to be honest, that's a really good idea.
Yeah. So anyway, take it.
Thanks, Gary.
So for me, Martha, this was just fantastic, because I've been trying to figure out, how do I make myself visible? And up until kind of last night, this morning, I thought, you know, I can't do it. Everyone's bombarding and I don't want to be lost there. And how do I do it? And, you know, and what do I say? But now I see how I have an offering now. I can kind of think about things. So, so now yeah, I have a lot to do, I think.
Yeah, and just maybe
No, it was great. Thank you so much.
you're welcome. I think even after this call, just put on always my advice, put on the kettle, get a pen and paper. So sometimes I just love paper. I'm a big tech person, but I just love paper and just sit down and just allow what went on in your head during this call. I'll be putting the replay up afterwards so you can watch back on the replay. And just allow it to process, and even going for a walk. Walking is the best one. It'll just filter, the filtration process will just come through, and it'll come together. Yeah, so it's amazing. You might even, all of this conversation might even trigger something else completely, or you might just go down one of those tracks, so
yeah,
as I say, it's good to talk. So
no, it's been great. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, ladies.
You're welcome. So that's it for me today for the Online Business Coffee Break. If any of you want to join me on the SOS Online, you're very welcome. And anyone watching the replay, go to marthafraser.com/SOS Online. And I will see you tomorrow. And actually this Friday, we have our expert actually that is joining us this Friday is, hang on, it's Carrie. Do you know Carrie? Who is going to be doing, is it Carrie Buds? Sorry, I've got her surname.
Oh, yes, Carrie Buds from Quokka Wellness,
yes.
Digital
yes,
Detox.
Carrie Buds. I just want to make sure I had her surname right. She's doing a talk about digital detox, which I'm really excited about. So if you want to join us, you can come on Friday or you can catch the replay. So that's it for me. Thanks for joining, ladies. It was lovely to chat.
Bye.
Thanks, Valerie.
Thanks very much.
Chat to you all again. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.